You're listening to the audio version of the popular videocast Cocktails with Cav, found only on X. Follow us here on Spotify and on the X platform at Cav Literature. I am so excited. We're here live coming to you from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm George Cavanaugh. I'm an audiobook narrator, screenwriter, and author. And it's going so well. I'm now your host of Cocktails with Cav. We're going to have some tonight. I tell you, I'm very excited. This is our inaugural show with a very special guest. And I've been excited to meet her since I came across her work, as well as began interacting with her on X. It's been a fantastic time. And I tell you, we've been trying to prep for this show and just, maybe get it as right as possible, hopefully. But and my producer, she's she also does some of my editing. We call her the ogre. She's no, it's a romantic term. Calm down. Can I show everybody a picture of you? I'll show them. Yeah, we like to we call her the ogre, but it's because we love her. This is her. She's a wonderful human being. She that's that's why you don't have a microphone. Oh, geez. Anyway, enough goofing off. I tell you, I am very excited. We've got with us tonight a special guest, really great author, Sheila E. Young. Of course, she is the author of the great book Mac, which is available on Amazon. And in fact, I think I have the link to it. Sharon. Yeah, she really has done a great job with this book. And I'd like everybody to go check it out on Amazon. It's called Mac. And of course, it's a great, fast paced international adventure with intrigue, suspense, a touch of romance. It's got it all. It's really a great read. And we're going to please join me in welcoming the wonderful author, Sheila E. Young. How you doing tonight?
Fine. How are you?
Great. Oh, so glad you could join us. I tell you, as our first guest, we're really excited. And, your work, I tell you, I'd like to take a minute just to read. And if everybody can show us a bunch of hearts on the live stream and welcome Sheila, it'd be great. But I just wanted to take a minute for our audience. I know you had a recent review a couple of days ago, and I'd just like to read a couple of lines of it, just so the audience can get an idea. The review is entitled, "If you enjoy reading, you'll love this book," and you can't go wrong with a review like that as a title.
No,
so
that was lucky. Good timing.
That's right. Well, the reviewer said, this book's part mystery, part cloak and dagger, part romance, and more. And if you like an excellent story with great character development, this is the book for you. And I couldn't agree more. And I really hope everybody can check it out. I tell you, let the audience know about yourself and tell them where you're from and how you got to where you are.
All right. Well, I just live west of Toronto in Canada, so I'm Canadian. I just got back from New York City, actually, just back from your country. So
I did see that on X. I saw your trip. That was nice.
Yeah, that was a good time. It was our 25th wedding anniversary. So
nice.
Yeah. Someone actually wanted to stay with me that long. That's a good thing. We have 3 kids. They're all adults now, though. They're in their early 20s. One is almost 20, so the youngest.
So you had him when you were 9?
Yes.
What's going on?
I know. Blame it on my mom. She took a while to look old too. yeah, and one just got engaged, so there's a lot of big news happening here. One just got a promotion, so we've been having a good couple of weeks here. As for me, um, I've done a lot of stuff. I've never shied away from trying different things. So I used to work for a resort in the Caribbean where I performed in the shows. I used to sing in the shows and be an entertainer back in the day. And then while the kids were in school, I did some background acting because that way I could turn it down if I couldn't do it. Um, so I did some recurring work on Designated Survivor and The Handmaid's Tale as a Martha and things like that. So, and the reason I got into writing a book was because I've always written little ditties for people, little funny little stories, sometimes using real names just for a joke, and it always went over well. And people were always, "You should write a book." And, I did take languages in university as well. So it's not out of the realm of, you know, what something I could do. So I sat down because I was miffed. I was miffed. That's why I wrote a book because it was during the pandemic and, everything going on and everyone generally, a lot of people being idiots, and
Right, right.
bigotry, racism. So I attacked it from that angle, but in an entertaining, humorous, fast-paced way. Like I tried to keep it light so at least it would be entertaining because everything was so heavy at that time. Everything's heavy now, right? So
Yeah, sure.
peop people need to escape a bit. So that was my goal, you know, to have something entertaining. And I want to say this. I've done a few podcasts now, and after replaying them and listening to myself, I say a lot. So I suggest every time I say we take a drink.
Well, I'm in. It'll be the first cocktails with Cav drinking
There you
game.
go. Cheers.
Mm. Well, I tell you, I was really fascinated with Mac, just because, like I said, it has a little bit of everything, and I'm sure the character Mac Riley. After getting to know you a little bit on X and interacting with you in that, and just knowing you're enchanting and witty and tough, tough at times. I have a feeling that maybe you could tell us a little bit about the main character and
I
tell me
see.
I wasn't far off that it has a lot of you in it.
I've been told there's a lot of me in her. Yes, definitely. She's got balls. She's fearless. She's not afraid to do things, and she's a bit of a phenom. So I don't know that I'm that, but very intelligent. Photographic memory, can do a lot of things. Anything she touches, she can do phenomenally well. And her dad is in the book is he runs a vigilante task force, and eventually he introduces her to his world because she's showing so many talents. And so there's a group of six of them, and they handle a lot of different things from small town crime to large international global scale conglomerates. So it's a huge cast of characters in my book. I'm not going to lie, it's a lot of people to orchestrate as you're writing it, but you're going to like the characters. They're a motley crew. There's a good mix, very inclusive. um yeah, that was my goal, to keep it inclusive. um Yeah, and Mac, yes, there are some similarities with me for sure. Because there's a scene at the very beginning, because I take it back 15 years at the beginning of the book. So when she's a young girl, and there's a funeral that she's singing at. And I have personal experience from being that age singing at funerals. So I knew what I was talking about, with certain, drink, cheers. But they're, oh, jeez, see, I'm not kidding you. It's a
We're not going to make
bad
it to the
trip.
end of the show.
Sheila's falling down into her laptop. Yeah, so there are similarities for sure, for sure. Um, One of the characters that I love is the grandmother. None of the characters I pictured any actor or any person I know except for the grandmother. She had, something Betty White-esque about her, you know? Oh, jeez. So bad. People tell me to stop.
Uh, well, that's what happens now. That's we're gonna be good.
Yes, we are.
Mm.
We're avoiding that phrase.
Well, I tell you, I even like how as thrilling as some of the fast paced action is in the book. You even have the family dealings that she has to.
Yeah, the yeah. Any nothing's too big, nothing's too small, and it's very much, if karma doesn't happen fast enough, they fly in and make sure karma puts in an appearance with some people who deserve it, let's put it that way. Yeah.
Right, right. Well, I tell
Uh,
you what, it is. It's incredible. When are we gonna? I'm sure, as a huge fan of your work, and I'm sure I'll ask the question that a lot of our audience may want to know. Is there any chance you're leaving your husband soon, or no? No, no, the sequel. We're all waiting for the sequel. That's what we'd like to
Ah,
know.
the sequel, I'm really working on it now, sincerely. I know where it's going. I'm in the final quarter of it right now before I do all the editing and whatnot, all the necessary, you know how it is.
Right,
It's
right.
not the joys of editing and revamping a few things, but I know where it's going. Funny story. My website that I have. I'm really bad for keeping up on a lot of things, including my website. I was going to do a blog, but it just gets away from you time as you're trying to promote as an indie author. It takes up a lot of time, so you don't always get to everything that you want to do. Um, but the other day I was on my website actually taking a gander at who's been checking out my website, because it does show you global where your global reach is, who's been looking. And I've mentioned a couple of times on X, Twitter, that my sequel to this book, to Mac, the Russian president doesn't fare so well in it, right? And a lot of
Right.
that stemmed from Ukraine happening. And I'm like, so I was, well, what can I do? Well, I can do this. And I mentioned it, and I think twice now. And you can zero in on the city map of where people have checked your website out. The Kremlin has
Uh,
checked your website twice.
uh, I tell you, yeah, I imagine some of it. I was wondering about that with my latest audiobook project. That, of course, you talk about marketing, and it's because it happened to be a huge project from the author was Vyacheslav Nikonov, who he's actually in the Russian Duma in
Yeah.
government. He's also a well-respected political science around the world, but his grandfather was Molotov, Stalin's
Okay.
farm. Yeah, so he's yes,
Yeah.
of Molotov cocktail fame.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always wondered who's I could see some people following me after I started plugging the book like I'm Mr. Russian disinformation or something. It's
We all joke about it. Our browser histories all look interesting as writers, right? Because we
oh,
look
well,
strange things
sure.
up. Um, but to see that, I was, oh, yeah,
That's fascinating.
yeah, yeah.
And I tell you, when you talk about being an indie author and marketing and all the work that goes into it, and God love us, we're plugging
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
But can share a little bit of your experience with that, because I think a lot of people don't understand um, just
It
how much work it is trying to finish your whip, and or working
it's
on a
a
new
lot.
project, or.
You go into it, and I've learned so much in the past, year and a bit, because there's a lot of terminology I didn't even know going in. Beta readers, arc readers, all of that. I just went in pretty blind, to be honest with you. I'm a pantser, as they say, which is I fly by the seat of my pants. I don't necessarily follow a
I
set.
I'm from
Oh,
New Orleans. We call pantsers something different, but no.
oh really? What's that? I'm afraid to ask. And how do you say it again? How do you say New Orleans?
New Orleans.
New Orleans?
Yeah, AWL.
AWL? Yeah, see,
AWLINS. Yeah,
I just
that's
saw another interview yesterday where they said something different. That's why I was going to ask you that because it's different with everyone, but yeah. Okay, so indie publishing versus traditional publishing. I I wish there wasn't such a competition between the two. I wish it wasn't such a people looking down on indie published authors. It's just two different avenues to take. Neither are necessarily better than the other, especially in this day and age, because things have changed so much in the publishing industry with the ability to self publish now. I never considered going the traditional route um, because I know anything can happen at any time. So I just wanted to make sure it got out. Um, but like I don't begrudge people who go that route though and try to get the agent, do the querying, and go that way. For them, it's the only way. Some of them, it's the only way they're going to do it. And I'm here to say things have changed. Self-publishing is a viable route to take. It's work though. It's a day-to-day grind. It's not just you put it out, off it goes, sayonara, best wishes. You have to daily put yourself out there, whether it be on TikTok or Twitter X, or Instagram, whichever social
or
media platform.
cocktails with Cav. That's you know.
You know? Yeah, no?
Now she's doing it on purpose. I like, but it is true. I've had a long discussion with a lot of other artists and authors and about the way technology has kind of changed that market, and the legacy publishers are just they're almost a gatekeeper to, I mean, because there is some great indie work out there with
There
heart and
really
soul,
is.
and it really is. I think what it comes down to is the ability to market it afterwards, because so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. And I
And
always tell people, get on it.
like anything, there's an element of luck too, with both. There is that element of luck. If there was a magic formula, we'd all be doing it. So there is that little timing, luck, um, who happens to read it maybe. Yeah. But yeah, it's a daily grind. You got to put yourself out there. And I hadn't been on social media before I wrote a book. I had your basic Facebook for family and friends, but I wasn't on anything else. And to be honest with you, self-promotion makes me flinch, right? Because it's not a natural thing to do. You're not, hey, it's not natural. Look at my book. No.
Right, right.
Um, and that's the other thing too. I had never known about imposter syndrome, where you write this book and then you're, oh my god, someone's reading my book. Oh, yeah, so it's interesting. Yeah.
And I tell you, oh, everything is changing so rapidly. I mean, AI. Just
I know.
I,
Well, how do you feel about that with you doing audiobooks even?
well, sure. And ACX just launched their beta
Mhm.
for authors, and so I'd stick with real human beings, people. It's no, it's not that I'm a luddite by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, things are going to change, that's for
Yeah,
sure. It's
but you want something with soul,
Yeah,
right?
and I think that's
What it
hopefully
what it
we
comes down.
all work through that. Not only authors, I mean, because heck, Amazon now is filled with self-published AI books, for a week. it's you
Yeah,
know
and you know what? That would have been funny to do as a joke, not to do it seriously, but to actually make a living of just pumping out AI nonsense is ridiculous. And I feel that way about some of the art too. I feel bad because I really like some AI art is beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, it is.
Well,
But
sure. But
but there's something to be said for something that has soul.
well,
That's
and I think I think we're all just going through that together now and
yeah.
experiencing and even trying to figure out how we feel about some things, you know?
Yeah,
It's
because someone took the time to create the AI. You don't want to begrudge them the skills that were used to create it, but I think when it comes to art, anything creative, yeah, you've got to rely on the human element sincerely.
I hope so
I
because
don't think it can be beat.
I hope so because I think at the end of the day and just as someone who's loved literature his whole life, it's when it's done correctly,
Yeah,
human beings have something to say
yeah.
from here the brain, but also here, that hopefully can
The
change the
heart.
world sometimes. So and
Yeah.
it's I don't know. Like I said, I think we're all going through it together.
Eh,
So
uh, and I think like everything now, everyone goes to extremes. You've got the very everyone likes to be divisive right now and take a side. And
right, right.
yeah, this one I don't think you necessarily have to take a side. You just have to acknowledge that the human factor can't be overlooked.
That's
That's all.
well,
Yeah.
and we really can't take a side. We're in it whether we like it or not. So a lot of
Yeah.
I think a large portion of all kinds of industries are just going to go along for the ride, and
Have you ever seen the
hopefully,
movie I, Robot?
yeah, yes,
That's what this is all reminding me of. The
it's
fear that all of a sudden they start thinking for themselves, which they're starting to do, and what have we set ourselves up for? We don't know. We'll find out.
yeah. I forgot which comedian said it. It's how many movies do you have to see to know how this is going to come out?
I
You
know,
know what I
I
mean?
know. I saw that too.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'll tell you, you keep plugging away with your great work. In fact, let's make sure we plug you very, very well, Sheila,
Okay.
because I do. I love the book. Ladies and gentlemen out in the audience, please follow Sheila on X. Sheila E. Young one, I believe is her handle.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Uh, please try to follow me and hit the notification bell. But Sheila's book Mac is available everywhere. It's available on Amazon US, UK, and Canada, of course. And this is a neat little thing on the live stream. If you got your QR code, you can go straight to it and go ahead and buy our book. Links in the comments to this stream later,
All right.
in case you don't get to the QR codes. But there's Amazon US. Of course, we have Amazon UK. It's available as well, and we'll also have Amazon Canada. And by all means, please, if go buy our book. I can't I can't buy everybody's book, but it is. I tell you, I bought it. I loved it. You guys are not going to be disappointed at all. It's a great read,
Thank
and
you.
you're very welcome. Believe me, and I was honored to have you on. That's for sure. And ladies and gentlemen, if you like the show, please consider supporting the show. Buy me a coffee. I'm not even talking the expensive peppermint mint lattes. Cheap Shell station, gas station coffee is all it costs to support the show. So head on over to buy me a coffee at my link on my profile or with the QR code. Uh, please consider that as well. But Sheila, again, I can't thank you enough for being
Thank
here
you.
and say I can't thank you enough for saying a lot because we got to have a few swigs in. So, but
Cheers.
but ladies and gentlemen, live from New Orleans and Toronto with Mrs. Sheila E. Young, despite our
Hey.
best hopes, Mrs. But cheers, ma'am, and thank you so much for being
Thank you for
our
having
our
me.
first guest. And ladies and gentlemen, again, please consider Mac available wherever you get your fine reading materials on Amazon. All right, we'll see you soon, Sheila, and I'll talk to you soon on X. And everybody, again, please go follow Sheila E Young one,
Thank you.
and follow me at Cav Literature as well, and hit that notification bell and never miss a show. We appreciate you.